What's going on, everybody, and welcome on in to the Garage Beers podcast, brought to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network. The Orange and Brown Report is the best, the biggest, the oldest independent Browns coverage site in all of Cleveland. And then on the back end of that, you get to come hang out with us on Garage Beers, and you get to talk Browns, which we're going to do a lot of tonight. We're going to talk Cavs. We're going to have a very frank conversation about the Blue Jackets because I think that is due. We're going to talk college football, and we're going to do so much more. So we're just very glad you're here. We're going to have a great time talking about all our favorite sports teams, and we're going to do it over a nice cold beer. So we're glad you're here joining us as well. Get in the comments while you're here joining us live tonight, like our buddy Chris here that says, "Hey, Mike and Joe," and I just want to say, "Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? It's good to see you." We are glad you're here. Drew's here talking about the Cavs. They are trying to rally right now. They were down big, and now they're within 5. So that is a beautiful thing. So just keep the comments coming, keep them live. We'll call you out and talk to you throughout the course of the show. With you as always, I'm your host, Michael Keefe. Find me online at Garage Beers. Mike joining me at the out there in Seattle, Washington. Find him online at Garage Beers. Joe, it's Joey Whalen. What's up, Joe?
Not gonna lie, Mike. Screen's throwing me off today.
It's weird. I don't know what the hell it's doing here on stream.
I'm sure nobody can see this, but there's a separate screen where it is like mega zoomed in on each of our faces, and it's making me really self-conscious.
So the StreamYard started doing this thing where it allows you to broadcast like vertically, so it's good. It's better for like Instagram, TikTok, people's phones, which is cool, except for it's weird. It's weird.
It's a little weird. Just just flip it. Go horizontal. It's fine.
I don't like looking at my face from afar.
Yeah. Now I
don't want to look at my face up close.
Hell no. Ew.
Get that out of here. Well, you know what? We just don't have a choice. We don't have a choice because it just is what it is.
How about it is. Okay.
How about Drew? Good evening, Joe and Mike. Warmed up during Browns Insiders, Inside the Browns Beat. That was my show I did at 7 o'clock with Fred Greetham with some Bush Heavies. Shout out to the Bush Heavies. We'll get to some beers here in a little bit. But listen, we've got a great show. Sorry, I feel like I'm so scrambled to start the show this week. Chad just texted like a few minutes ago. Chad's going to be here. Don't worry. If you're here just for Chad, which I know 0.0% of you are, but if you're here just for Chad, apparently his daughter's game tonight went into overtime. They better have won at least for this, but he's run a little bit behind. He'll be here any minute. So once he's here, we'll bring him in. But
it's got the same schedule as like men's beer league hockey right there. Jeez.
I know. Yeah. What are we doing here with
7-year-old soccer?
Yeah, right. What are we doing here? What is happening? No, we've got a great show. A little bit later in the show, we're going to dive into, like I said, a frank Blue Jackets talk that needs to be had. We're going to talk about the college football playoffs, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and how the playoff rankings have kind of unfolded after this latest weekend. We'll dive into a little bit of the Cavs. I know Drew's watching them now while he's hanging out with us. But we'll talk about hopefully the Cavs can rally in this fourth quarter. But we're going to kick things off, and I see him in the background here. So we're just going to kick things off right from the jump by bringing in a special guest. And I'm so excited for this because this is just a good dude. This is a guy that we got to know a little bit. He called some football games with us at WEOL. Now he's still calling football games, high school football games. He'll be out of game this week. Kind of the other big game for the one Chad and I are going to be on because the winner of those two games will face each other. But the poor guy, when he first started with WEOL, they were like, "Hey, go call some games with Michael Keefe." Woof. What a tough start. What a tough start to things. But he survived it. Now he's doing big things. You see him. He's kind of all over the place. He does a lot of stuff kind of behind the scenes, but you can catch him in front of the scenes with the Browns' latest podcast. Again, he does high school football, high school sports. He's working for the Guardians. He's a TV producer. He does a little bit of everything. We're just going to bring him in right now. It's our buddy Dave Grendzynski. Dave, welcome into the garage. Oh, there you are. Welcome into the Garage Beers podcast.
Hey, Mike. Wait, where's Chad? The only reason I showed up was you said Chad was going to be here.
See you, Dave. See you, Dave.
I'm the 0.00001% that's here for Chad. I'm that guy.
So, you know what?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. You've been at this a long time, and I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here. But yeah, you and I calling games at EOL, man, it's probably, I don't even want to think about how long ago that was already, but yeah, still doing games for the rival station in Lorain County.
Is it really a rival? I don't think.
Not really, not anymore. We kind of.
I like those guys over there. Bull Barch does some stuff over there still, I think.
Yeah,
right?
and so Andy and I both we're calling games for Spectrum now. When the playoffs start, we switch over to it's all playoffs, and I've been working a lot with Lance Reisland this playoff
Lance is a good guy.
So it's been great. And yeah, you mentioned we have Hoban and Walsh tomorrow. We got our fill of Avon. We have had Avon the last couple of weeks, so they decided, why don't you guys, you do Hoban and Walsh this week. So that's what we're doing.
Where is that game?
It's at Bedford.
Bedford. That's right. Yeah, big game. You guys will be on Hoban and Walsh. Chad and I will be on Avon and Highland, and those should be two really good games. Those should be two. I mean, Hoban's back.
Oh, for sure. And Walsh is senior laden, and I mean, this is what they have put it all together for, is this game. And so the amount of Division I talent that will be on both of those fields is insane. And when you go through, like these rosters for Hoban and Walsh, like Hoban, you got guys going to USC, you got guys being recruited by Oregon and Michigan and Ohio State, guys committed to Ohio State. I mean, this isn't like, these aren't your smaller Division I schools we're talking about. We're talking about all the big boys that will be represented on the field.
Yeah, it's funny because I was talking about this with Chad, and obviously Hoban, big-time D1. I think you were on the Avon game with Wadsworth. Wadsworth has a bunch of guys going big-time D1 football, and we've got these teams going. Avon's got guys going big-time D1 football, and then here comes this Highland team. I don't think any of these kids are going to any big-time D1 football, but, man, are they dominant. And I'd be a little – Joey over here, Joe's an Avon grad. I'd be a little nervous this week if I was an Avon. Avon's awesome. I said it last year. If that game would have gone one more quarter, Highland would have beat Avon. Avon got out to like a 14-0 start right off the bat.
That's right. And then I know there were a couple of miscues and things that changed that game, but that's the beauty of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like, you get the, especially too, like sometimes with Spectrum, like I'll get a Kirtland game every once in a while. Like you'll get these D6 or D7 schools that are just powerhouses. These kids are, just playing for the love of the game, but my goodness, man, they're just machines, but with Avon, and I've had the opportunity to see Avon a lot this year, both on, doing the radio games. And like I said, we did a couple of games with Spectrum already with Avon. The thing with Avon is they're built for anything that you throw at them. And so there are teams, and I was on that game last year, even when Olmsted Falls jumped out to that 21-7 lead on them in the regional semifinal. But then, Avon is always just like, all right, hold my beer,
yes.
And then they just turn it on, they figure it out, and they stop whatever it is that you have working for you. They find a way to stop it and then get their offense going. And like last week, they turned to the running game. The week before, they were throwing it all over the yard. Grant Barr was unstoppable, and so they just adjust, and they're great on special teams too. They grow kickers, I think, at Fitch Farms over there on 83 or something.
That's right.
Because they always have a great kicking game as well. Like every single facet of their game is top notch.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Elder and what he's built there. I just there's another Mike coming in to that game, Coach Mike Gibbons down there at Highland, and that's a Highland team that's given up 4 points a game on the season. 4.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what happens, right? You get into these, and you start going through these stats and things, and you're like, this is insane, like what these teams do, and then they all, this is you get down to the final 8, the final 4, and it's all just super good football.
Northeast Ohio has a really good shot of bringing another state championship back in Division II, and I think Division II is the best division of high school football in Ohio, and that's going to be awesome. We did get a question while we just start on high school football. I love this. Got a question from our buddy Pat Shea in the comments that wants to know from you and me. Can St. Ignatius ever get back on track? Chuck Kyle leaves, new head coach search underway. It's been a 3-year mess after Chuck Kyle left, and that is a very nice way to put that. It has been disastrous at St. Ignatius to the point I was laughing. We did the Rocky River Buckeye game a few weeks ago, and there's a kid that plays for Rocky River named Tristan Hughes. And when I went to Rocky River, we were always terrible at football. Why? It was funny. We would always go from, like, we would play CYO football, St. Chris. We blew everybody out. Nobody would ever beat St. Chris. And then you go to Rocky River, and they were always terrible. Why? Because all those kids that were really good at football that played CYO all went to St. Ed's or St. Ignatius. Well, there's this kid, Tristan Hughes, that plays for Rocky River now. Transfer from St. Ignatius to Rocky River.
That doesn't happen very often.
It never. I don't know whether I'm impressed or angry because that never happened when I was there. Rocky River had to play with all the scrubs like me because all the good talent left, and now kids are leaving Ignatius. It's been a mess, but they can get back to it. They can get back.
Yeah, I had that Avon St. Ignatius game to start the season, and one of the things if you want to compare, like, it's hard not to compare almost every team to Avon just because of what they have built, over the years. But just looking at the numbers, at Avon, like half the time you see Avon's sideline, it looks like they have 200 kids, and the other, you look at the other sideline, it looks like they have 20. But with Ignatius right now, I think it's a numbers game. They've got a ton of former NFL players coaching that team. So I don't think coaching is the problem. It's the numbers and the players. And I think they'll eventually get back to it for sure. I mean, they're St. Ignatius. And so, but again, I've heard some rumors already about coaches who are interested or being tied to that job already. And so they will get a guy in there who will know how to build it like an Avon or build it like how St. Ed's is.
Like a St. Ignatius.
Yeah, St. Ignatius. They'll get all that's what it'll take. They'll get the right guy in there, and then they'll be back.
All right, Dave Grendzynski, again, it's a pleasure to have you on. We can't keep talking sports, though, without starting things off on the right foot. This is the Garage Beers podcast, and we can't go any further without doing our Garage Beers of the Week segment, our favorite segment of the week. So, Dave, as our esteemed special guest, why don't you lead us off? What kind of garage beer did you find for yourself tonight?
Well, here's the thing. You're going to be disappointed in me tonight, but here's the thing. I am a huge West Coast IPA guy. Okay. Love West Coast IPAs. I mean, I love IPAs in general, but if you're giving me a choice, I'm West Coast all the time. I mean, I love Collision Bend as a great one. So you take me into any brewery and just point me towards the IPAs, and then if you got a West Coast, I'm drinking it. It's the bottom line. And so, but tonight we're going Landman, baby.
Oh, right.
You watch Landman? You watch Landman?
Landman.
No, but my parents do, and I need to.
Well, you'll have a finer appreciation for the Ultra if you start watching Landman.
All right.
So,
hey, no free ads. All right, a little Mick Ultra. That's a beer that I feel like has only made an appearance here maybe once or twice. So,
all right, there you go. See,
in 5.5 years. So,
there you go. See, that's what I mean.
Welcome on in to the Mick Ultra. Joe, what do you got going on?
Fellas, I spent a lovely 11 days in Cleveland this past week, and I drank in a season's worth of Christmas sales, but I've not drank in a season's worth of the barrel aged Christmas sale. So brought a 4-pack of that pack. It's a good batch. It's a great batch this year.
I was grabbing a couple beers at the store the other day, and I was like, the barrel aged Christmas ales. I do love them. And I went to get them, and I was it's like $30 for a 4-pack. I was like, I'm gonna buy more other beers, and I'm gonna leave that one alone for now.
It was my vacation present to myself.
Yeah, right. Santa came early.
Yeah.
Big shout out there. You and I are both doing Great Lakes then, Joe, because the wife and I went down to Great Lakes last weekend, had a beer, hanging out. There was a store right across the way from there that she wanted to go to, and so we went in and sat down at the bar and had a couple of beers. And you are an IPA guy. I'm an IPA guy too, Dave, but I'm also a seasonal guy. I love changing beers with the seasons, and Great Lakes does that really well. Their seasonal beers, they might be the best seasonal beer place in Cleveland. When you think of just how they change throughout the year. But this was a magical moment for me because years ago, and I mean years ago, probably almost 20 years ago, I walked in there and I sat down and they had a pumpkin beer. And I was like, and I had it. and it was magical. It was great. And I've never seen it ever again. Until last weekend when I walked in there and the pumpkin beer was on tap. And so, boys, not only did I get it, I got the whole crowler. I got 32 ounces.
Yeah.
32 ounces of the pumpkin beer.
Nice.
That I had them fill up for me. And look at that. It is beautiful. Hold on, let me get Garage Beers in there. It is beautiful. It is a tasty, tasty pumpkin beer. And I just couldn't have been more thrilled. I said, I need a crowler, and that is my next Garage Beer of the week. So
yeah, I would definitely try that. Like I had a neighbor, I have a neighbor who he used to go to this IPA party once a year, just for, friends of his, and he would come back with all these different kinds of beers that he wouldn't drink. And he would always give them to me. So it was great to have those in the, so that's when I would try all those different kinds of, even like, there's like black cherry or whatever. Like, I'll try it, whatever, But it was on a trip to Los Angeles actually for work is when I finally decided, like, I just love West Coast IPAs.
Yeah.
Man. Like I have not found a West Coast IPA that I don't like. But when it comes to the seasonal stuff, it's weird. I kind of lean Sam Adams because I'm Oktoberfest. I love Cold Snap, man. Like you get into January, Cold Snap. And the first time I ever had that, Fenway Park at the Bleacher Bar in January on a work trip, right out of the tap. I'm like, this might be the greatest winter beer of all time. And
this is the greatest night of my life.
It was a magical moment for me, Mike. That was my magical moment, was drinking Cold Snap at Bleacher Bar, underneath the Fenway Park. In Boston. And so, like you have those moments, right? And you meet these beers and then you're like, oh my gosh, you just, and then they leave your life. And that's what Cold Snap was. And it was so funny because I never saw, I'm like, I never get to see Cold Snap anymore. Where's Cold Snap? And I was telling my buddy, this happened last year. I'm like, hey, if you're going to buy beer, you gotta try Cold Snap. It was January or whatever, I said, I don't see anywhere. If you ever see it, he goes, if I ever see it, I'll get it for you. I said, okay, cool. I go to the store that day. There it was. I spoke it into existence. I sent him a picture and I bought a bunch.
I love it. Well, we got a Mick Ultra. Let's, I see some things happening in the comments, which by the way, just some hilarious comments like Drew in Brick City. Drew went and grabbed a Stella just to have a skinny beer with you, Grizzer. Just to have a skinny beer with you.
Skinny beer. Pat
Shea out in California has a Firestone Walker 805 Blonde Ale from Paso Robles, California.
That sounds like a password.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. But I know Pat Shea, and one, super class act. Two, that's probably a really good beer. Phil says, sucker for barrel-aged anything. So here's your sign, Philip. Go out and get yourself a barrel-aged something and have it while we're sitting here. Let's see. I think that's about it for now. But if you're joining us and you want to tell us the beers, keep putting them in the comments. I'll keep flashing them up. But now I want to get into the meat and potatoes here of episode 290 of Garage Beers. And it's a funny story. I want to start with this story, Grizzer, because I was sitting there laughing. I see your videos pop up all the time. You do a great job just putting little clips out there. That is great. That's something we are terrible at. We have like one clip, and that's what we put out there. But you do a great job putting clips of your show out there. And I sent you a text because I find myself just constantly disagreeing with you. just consistently. And I love you. And I never mean it as like a personal thing, but when it comes to these Browns conversations, I find myself constantly disagreeing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to send Grizzer a thing because that makes for a good podcast. We're disagreeing. So Dave, what spurred this whole thing today was you've been making some videos about the Cleveland Browns. We're going to start with the Cleveland Browns. And you've been making some videos about quarterback situations and Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel and the handling of this stuff. And you had me riled up. You had me all riled up, and I think we need to air this out. But now, of course, right as I'm getting into this, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Here, Dave. Oh, shoot. I don't know how that
works. The big Browns fan of them all.
Well, hold on. I don't know. This thing, it changed like a bunch of stuff, and now I can't bring in Chad. I don't know what's going on with this screen. I'm sorry, guys. Give me a minute. I'm just going to make sure that we fix it. Anyways, Dave, you had me riled up talking about the Browns and how they've handled the quarterback situation. And you and I think, see it a little bit differently. And so, we had we had the debut of Shedeur Sanders, guys. And we saw it when Dillon Gabriel was injured and the Browns put Shedeur Sanders out there. Didn't go great. But, I don't think there's a ton of expectations coming in off an injury. It's a hard thing to say, hey, that's going to go great. But why don't you lead us off, Dave, with just your impressions of the way things went, the debut of Shedeur Sanders in the loss against the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, I mean, to me, Chad, what's up?
Hey, guys.
What's up, Chad?
What are we talking about? The most worthless team of the last 26 years in the state?
Come on.
All right. Let's keep going. Let's get into it.
Well, here's the thing. The writing was on the wall on Friday that Shedeur was going to play. I do a thing on Saturdays. I do the prediction pen. On Sunday, before the game, I do my bold predictions. And I knew on Friday something was up because in the press conference on Friday, Kevin Stefanski went out of his way to mention how well Shedeur did in the 2-minute drill that they ran towards the end of practice. And as soon as he said that, I said, something's up. He's playing this week. I'm like, there's gonna. And so my bold prediction was, and I said it, I said, he's playing. I said, now it's either going to be the offense has really just completely come off the rails. Like not that it hasn't been already. I said, now I don't want him to get hurt or it's going to be an injury. There's going to be something. I said, and he's coming in. I'm telling you right now. And sure enough, we get to halftime and then out of the blue, there's Shedeur. Now, the way this situation was handled has been, I mean, it's such a long, I don't know how far you want to go back. Cause I mean, it goes all the way back to taking Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. I mean, that's where this starts because everybody on the planet, and I think not even just this planet, I think some of the other planets, anybody who has seen at least one football game in their life knew when you took Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round that you shouldn't have taken Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. Because everybody sat there and looked at they're going, who? What? 3rd round? Everybody knew this guy was not going to be a franchise quarterback. This is not a franchise quarterback. You knew it from the start. I mean, and if you're an Ohio State fan, you knew it when you watched that game when Ohio State ripped them.
Which one? The one where he tore up Ohio State or the second one?
No. That was That was the one when Will Howard. That's the one. That game was when Will Howard. No, that's when they cheated to win. Remember? Oregon had to cheat to win. Yeah. So that game, that's what I'm talking about. The other one when we tore them up. But here's okay. There's so many things to unfold here, Mike. Here's the thing. I think the Browns get together before every season starts and they sit down and they go, okay, here's what has no team in the NFL ever done? And they're like, you mean like, I don't know, win like 5 Super Bowls in a row? And they're like, no. Like the stupidest things that has ever been done in the NFL. What do you think we could do? I don't know. Draft an undersized left-handed quarterback. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, let's mark that down. What else can we do?
Left-handed into this?
Left-handed and undersized.
Why you got to bring that into this?
We got to double down. Then what can we do after that? I don't know. Can we draft another rookie? And then here's what we'll do. We'll get 4 quarterbacks and we'll bring them all to camp. I mean, come on, man. This thing was a complete disaster from the beginning. And everybody wants to bring up RG3 and Kirk Cousins. I get it. Those were 2 rookies, but they had a plan. As soon as they drafted RG3, they said, RG3 is the starter. Boom. That's it. We're going forward. And they had a plan in place from day one. This has been This has been a mishmash of first it's Kenny Pickett, then it's going to be Flacco, then it's going to be, nobody knows what they're doing. And now you're down to 2 rookies, one taken in the 3rd round, one who fell to you in the 5th round. But then you're only going to let one practice and prepare and get like you talk about a recipe for disaster. Like this has been, and Stefanski, to me, like this is over. The Dillon Gabriel experiment is over. The Kevin Stefanski experiment is over. I mean, it is time to move on. And so I'm excited to see, hopefully Stefanski stays out of the way on Sunday and just lets Tommy and Shedeur cook. But this whole thing has been a disaster. And I've been saying Kevin Stefanski should have been fired 5 years ago. I mean, not just this year. I mean, this has just been this offense and this quarterback, 13 quarterbacks in 6 years with Stefanski. And an offense that gets worse and worse every single year. So, and he's in charge of it.
Listen, so now I got to respond, and then I can see it in Chad's face.
I was looking for all of Mike's trigger words. That's what I was waiting. That's all I was trying to do.
You're hitting all of them, Dave. Chad, Drew wants to know if you're drinking bedtime tea.
No, this would be a hot toddy.
Hey,
a hot toddy.
Is that getting your voice? Just
trying to keep the voice flowing for Friday.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about that, but we'll go back to it. All right. Here's where I become frustrated with this conversation, because it's like, put your tinfoil hat on and let's roll. It's not that. One, I keep hearing people say, like, talking about franchise quarterbacks or whatever. They took 2 swings on rookie quarterbacks in mid to late rounds. Though you're not. There is no expectation out of these guys. There's no expectation for Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel. Zero. None. If one of them turns out to be a good NFL quarterback, sweet. But here's the thing that I have an issue with. You just brought it up, Dave. And this is where I find that you're like trying to pull me in 6 different directions. The Browns are the worst team in football at finding a quarterback. Right? Right?
Yes.
And they have been. They have been for 3 decades. The worst team in football at finding a quarterback. They need to take as many swings as they can take. So when people get mad, oh, you took Dillon Gabriel, you took Shedeur Sanders, take them all. Get 3 rookies next year. Who cares? They took a swing. Maybe Kenny Pickett could be a reclamation project. Frankly, I was pissed when they kept Joe Flacco. I was pissed when they brought Joe Flacco in. I made a whole video about it. I was pissed when they brought Joe Flacco in, because I was like, what's Joe Flacco going to do here? And it's exactly what he did. Nothing. Kenny Pickett's the guy I think they should have just hung on to and just to see if maybe there was a reclamation project to him, but he hurt his hamstring and they got rid of him. I didn't like that move. Otherwise, though, you rolled out there with Dillon Gabriel. Okay. He did what he did, which was a bunch of nothing. Very low level, below average quarterback play. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes. He doesn't hurt you as far as consistent turnovers, all that kind of stuff, but he certainly is not going to lead a high-powered offense. We see that. We know that. And now you give it a shot to Dillon Gabriel. But then the other thing that we consistently, I don't know where this narrative comes from, but this first team snaps thing, here's where the malpractice would be, Dave. The malpractice would be having a 3rd-round quarterback that you named your starting quarterback after you traded Joe Flacco and you didn't give him every first-team rep. That would be malpractice.
But Mike, what's going to happen? Okay, you got a rookie as your backup. Are you going to derail Dillon Gabriel's career if you give Shedeur 3 or 4 reps at the end of practice? I've never heard a team I've never heard a wide receiver. I never caught a pass from him. Lineman saying, wow, that's the first time I heard his cadence in a game. I mean, only in Cleveland does this stuff happen.
But it has nothing to do with the practice structure.
But
that happens everywhere.
Been set from the beginning. Mike, you can't, come on. You can't, in this situation, it's the situation that calls for a coach to step up and he did not do what was best for the team. And you heard Shedeur talk about it today. He said, now we're on a fast track. Now he's got to go lickety split and try and get as much work in with all these guys and get the feel for the offensive line and he's got basically 2 days to do it because they got to fly out to Vegas. And so, and that is why people say he sets them up to win or sets them up to lose and doesn't, like that's why all this stuff happens. Here's the other thing I'll say, Mike, which would keep conversations like this from happening is if he would just answer the questions. People ask him these questions all the time.
That's fair.
And all we get is, I understand the question, but we just got to play better. We got to be better. You got to be better. It turns into Oprah. You got to be better. You got to be better. Everybody's got to be better. Okay, like that's all we get. I call them Stefansers. That's what I call. They're Stefansers. You get the Stefansers. I understand the question, but we got to get better. We just have to be better. I have to play better. I have to coach better. We have to like. But if you come out and say, okay, here's the deal. Here's the plan. and like listen to real coaches like Mike Tomlin or some of these other guys who give you Dan Campbell, who give you answers to the questions. They answer the question. Stefanski doesn't answer the question. It's like that corporate mumbo jumbo that you get all the time that drives everybody crazy. And then to me, that has been a big part of this problem is the communication because the fans don't know. And you just sit here and everybody just forms their own opinion. That's all.
Who cares if the fans know?
Well, yeah, whether it's Mike Tomlin or Dan Campbell or whoever, Dave, there's the fans don't need to know anything. Like
Bill Belichick never gave you a straight answer.
None of these franchises owe the fans anything as far as that goes. They don't.
The fans are the reason that's what everybody fans care about the team. That's it.
No,
but here's what I'm saying. But here's what I'm saying. You don't have to give anything away, but at least give us an answer. When somebody asks you, hey, will Shedeur this was a couple weeks ago. What is Dillon Gabriel improved on the most from game 1 to now? And it was this very vague answer of, oh, he's working hard and everybody's working hard and everybody's working. It's like, how about you say, well, we really love the way he worked under center. He was asked point blank by Tony Grossi. You said the height thing doesn't show up on tape. We're 4 games into this now. Do you think that still rings true? Does the height show up on tape? He's working hard and everybody's working hard. Just give us something. Give us some form of an answer. But because then everybody walks away from that with just opinions, and that's it. And then it fuels the fire.
How is that going to benefit the team though? If the fans know that information, how does that benefit the team?
To owe that from the fans. But my biggest thing is when you got a 3rd round rookie, and then you got a guy who everybody thought was a 1st round talent that fell to you in the 5th round. You have to set them both up to win. I see. There's a trigger. It's like, watch this.
But we got to stop that.
But I'm just saying, I didn't say I said it. I didn't say I said it, but I'm everybody's saying it. But I would tell you, Mike, you cannot tell me that in watching one half of him I saw more 20-yard passes in one half than I have in the whole time Gabriel's been out there.
Incomplete ones.
Drops.
There were no drops.
Go back and watch the tape. The other thing is this.
No, he did not.
The other thing is this. With Shedeur out there, you have that escapability factor. Dillon Gabriel's not running away from anybody. And you saw Shedeur make good decisions, run with the ball when he needed to, and he got more comfortable as the half went on with absolutely no prepreparation.
I saw him
be equipment manager in garbage cans.
I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders.
We all are.
I think there's an excitement level to him, and I think there's no doubt that his ceiling is higher. 100%, 1,000%. I saw him make some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen. We saw 12 and 14-yard sacks.
I watched Dillon Gabriel throw to 2 ghosts on the field.
This is the other thing. Everybody's like, yeah, but did you see that throw that Shedeur made to Harold Fannin on that last? I saw Dillon Gabriel make the same throw earlier in the same game. Same throw.
But okay, when you stack the two together, when you put them side by side, who looks more like an NFL quarterback?
They both looked terrible.
You can't. Shedeur's had 6 series. Gabriel's had training camp. Gabriel's had joint practices. Gabriel's had all of these snaps, all of the work with the first team, all of these games, and he has gotten progressively worse.
Oh, he's gotten worse. He looks the same. He looks the same.
Worse. This is a mess. This is a mess. And from day one, like if they would have taken him in the 6th or 7th round, people would be like, all right. Or if you flip that, if they took Shedeur in the 3rd and Gabriel in the 5th, people would be like, all right. Find me somebody who thinks it was a great idea to take Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. There's nobody. And that, Mike, that's where it starts. That's where the frustration starts. It's like, why are we doing this in the first place? Why? It's such a Browns thing to do. And this is what upsets me. I am so tired. I just want a franchise quarterback. I'm so tired of the embarrassment that comes with being a Browns fan. And so when you get Shedeur, and here's the thing, and it's like, here's the only, it feels a little bit like the Manziel thing a little bit again, but I want it to feel more like the Baker thing, which we screwed up, the Baker thing, when Baker came in that night. And, that's how Sunday kind of felt.
In hindsight, we screwed up the Baker thing, but
oh my God, that was another thing Stefanski screwed. Somebody needed to be the adult in the room with Baker and say, listen, here's how this is going down. You're our franchise quarterback. We need you to get fixed. We need you next year, not this year. But nobody would be instead he fought with him like a child and said, all right, just go out there then. We need a real football coach. And it's great to watch Vrabel clowning on him. Well, after they ran out of gadget plays, it was pretty easy to figure out what they were going to do. Then you got Tomlin clowning on him. Like, I don't know why they're trading Flacco into division, to a division rival. We do things like that. Was the first time we've ever made a trade with Cincinnati. And then that was the first time something like that happened since 1974 or something.
I also don't understand the surprise here. The Cincinnati Bengals called the Browns and said, hey, we'll give you a pick for Flacco. And the Browns were probably so flabbergasted by that.
No, I'm sure. But,
okay.
But but what I'm saying is it's such a Brown. It's the Browns who makes these moves. And again, it adds to the embarrassment. Because I got friends who call me. I just had one call me right before we came on, who they just, all it is. And how do you can't argue with them because they're right when they're clowning you, because we do it's more clowns than Browns, and it's got to stop. And so that's what I'm really, really rooting for. I'm really rooting for Shedeur to go out there on Sunday and let this be the first day of the rest of our lives and take the reins and put an end to this quarterback search. And then we can use those draft picks next year for some facets on offense and keep building from there.
Man, I hope he throws for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the Browns lose 28-21. Let's go.
But see, why though, Chad? Why be glass half, not even half empty?
Because Dave, I said last year, I hit my pain threshold with this team last year. This team cannot hurt me anymore. I will not. Obviously, I'm never going to stop being a Browns fan, but I'm not going to be all in on this team ever again. This blind go Browns is just not going to happen until they finally figure their shit out. 26 years of nothing, the majority of bullshit, Dave. It's been nothing but bullshit, no matter what situation they found themselves in, right? It's either they've had a really talented roster, couldn't put it together, they put it together for 1 year, but couldn't follow it up with another thing, or they've been 0-16 and 1-15. So they can't hurt me anymore. So get all the draft picks that you can, get the highest draft picks that you can, get the biggest influx of talent on this team. I don't want this team to win another game this year, Dave. I don't. I don't.
I'm on the other side of that. I want them to win. I would love nothing more than to see them win out and get the excitement back. And it's all about just trying to get back to the Bernie days, man. Like the Bernie days. And it's so hard to try and explain it to, like my kids who they're ones are out of college, the other ones, still in college, and all their friends, and try to get them to understand, the Browns, while we used to compare them to the Patriots, like when Brady was, we say the Browns used to be like that. The Browns were, it was like, it wasn't if we were going to make the play, it was who we playing in the playoffs and how far are we going to get,
Yeah.
And so that is the frustration and watching this year after year. And, and then you bring in these different people. Mike Holmgren, he steals our money and doesn't do anything for the team. Then we get guys that, I thought Greg Williams was, when Greg Williams was coach of the team, I'm like, hey, look, they're playing for this guy. We get rid of him. We get Dorsey in here. Dorsey makes some great move. We get rid of him. We can't get out of our own way, and then now the one thing we stick with is a complete disaster. Haslam brings in, you got Stefanski and Barry. Now, I'm going to ask you guys. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. What happened on draft night? Because, originally everybody thought Haslam wanted Shedeur, and that's why they had those looks on their faces when they. I think Barry wanted Shedeur. Stefanski did not want Shedeur because Stefanski already had his teacher's pet. He picked his pet in Dillon Gabriel. He went to Dollar General and dug through the bargain bin and found an undersized left-handed quarterback that he said is like a supercomputer. So he's going to make him his quarterback. But then Barry peed in his Cheerios and said, wait a minute, I can get Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. I'm trading up in front of Philly to get him, and I'm going to get him. And Stefanski was like,
I don't think any of that happened.
You don't?
Literally none of that happened.
What do you think?
They came together and said, hey, this dude has fallen to the 5th round, which again, you said it earlier. You said a lot of people had this dude pegged as a 1st rounder. No, they didn't. People that talk on TV had him pegged as a 1st rounder. Clearly the NFL did not.
And where do they have Gabriel? Where do they have Gabriel?
About the same place. Listen,
I think Gabriel was probably way lower.
Dave, we have to be able to separate.
I hate this team.
We have to be able to separate the conversations of Gabriel and Sanders. Sanders isn't going to be good because Gabriel isn't, and vice versa. That's not how it works. He's going to be good because he is good, or he's not going to be good because he isn't. It's not going to have a thing to do with Dillon Gabriel.
But here's the thing.
He fell to the 5th round. They had the ammo to get him. You know, Andrew Berry loves to trade up when it comes to those late round picks anyways. He doesn't like having those late round picks. And they went and got him because, again, they took swings. Took swings.
But now we're in a situation where Gabriel got that mile-long runway. Shedeur's runway is like this big.
No,
and so now everybody's going to try and compare. They're going to, no matter what, you're going to compare the two. There's no, everybody's going to try and say,
what mile-long runway?
Everything from training camp. He got the joint practices. That was like that's like a whole half of a game. You get those joint practices. Those matter more than the preseason games. Then he got the preseason work. Then he got like all the work he got with the ones at practice. And here's the thing. I went to training camp and not just me. People and it was unprovoked. Everybody, one look at Gabriel and said, this is not the guy. But at the time, I'll tell you, Flacco was slinging it all over the yard. And then the season starts. I thought, okay, we're going to be in pretty good shape with Flacco. Then the season starts, and we tie Flacco's arms together for some reason, and the whole offense just doesn't go anywhere. So it just you see things with your own eyes, and you're like, all right, this could work. But then the season starts, and it's like, what is going on here? Because this is not what I saw at training camp. And so now we're at a point where it's Shedeur's time. The good thing here's what I'll say about this. I think if there's anybody who can handle this, it'll be him, because like there's no moment that seems to be too big for this guy. And so, he'll just go.
I want to know. Here's what I want to know, Dave. I'm going to ask you this question. I need you to sell me on this, man.
Yes.
And I think the people want to hear it too. You have this. You are hook, line, and sinker sold for Shedeur Sanders. And I'm rooting for him. I want him to be great for the reasons that you said before, which are, I want us to be done looking for a quarterback. I want us to be done with this process. However, you have fallen hook, line, and sinker for this dude who I think Shedeur Sanders, what he provides you is the opportunity for, I think you're going to have big plays that you didn't have before. And I think you're going to see some of the worst stuff that you have seen on a football field. And that's what he has demonstrated. And that's the concern. And that's why he fell to the 5th round. And that's why no other football team took him. And so I need you to sell me on the confidence level that you have with Shedeur Sanders of why you're just so ready to be like, this is the dude.
So here's I'm excited because Stefanski's not calling the plays. That's step one, because I want to see Shedeur with Tommy Rees. But the other thing is this. We have this, explain this to me. How come we never use Dillon Sampson? He was only the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, I think the SEC is a halfway decent conference, if I remember right.
Well, can I help you answer that question?
Sure.
If you watch the Ravens game, did you see the couple times Dillon Sampson? First of all, do you want to be running the ball with Quinshon Judkins or Dillon Sampson?
Well, no, I'm not saying you don't go away from Judkins.
But the issue with Dillon Sampson, I don't know if you saw his pass blocking attempts in
Oh,
the
no,
game
you
against
can't-
the Ravens. It was rough.
No,
it was
and that's
rough.
it's been like that all year. But again, I go back to the coaching. You got to figure out ways to get him involved where that doesn't involve him blocking, but get him on the field, because I think Judkins and Sampson both are home. They can hit a home run for you on any play. And I think Judkins, and I thought we went away from the run last week, but we ran the ball 10 times in the first half and then ran the ball 7 times in the second half. But, I think that what we're going to see is everybody's going to be so excited for Shedeur. I don't think it's going to be a lot of Shedeur, especially early on. You can run on the Raiders. The Raiders are giving up, the last 116 yards a game, but they're giving up for the whole season. They're giving up.
Browns are running for
40.
40. Browns are running for 40 yards.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen with the way this offensive line is playing.
Well, and that's what you have to try to do. You got to commit to it.
So dumb.
But again, so Mike, okay, so this is
I
on
hate
Andrew
them.
Berry. This offensive line is a complete disaster because of Berry. Like that's like everything you got. You're like, oh, that's a disaster. This is like I'm telling you, Stefanski's the disaster. Berry, it's all a disaster. And then you ask me, how is it going to work? And I'm trying to tell you, this is the only way you're going to get it to work. But then what I'm saying is this: when Flacco was out there, I was from day one, this offensive line can't pass block to save his life, to save their lives. But we keep dropping Flacco back 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Why don't you just tape a target to his chest? And because that doesn't work. You've got to create a system that works with the players. It reminds me, I think back to like Mike Fratello. Remember the Fratello days with the Cavs, when we were winning games like 81-80 or 81-79 and everybody else is trying to score 100 points.
That's real basketball.
Right. And you know what I said? I said it on the show one time. The Browns got to play guards ball. They got to figure out a way to play guards ball. And because you knew you had the defense.
That's Dillon Gabriel.
No,
he's
not throwing to go. No, not throwing the ghost and 5-yard passes. No,
LeBron couldn't handle the Mike Fratello days.
Yeah, but you have. Does this team have an identity? Let me ask you that. Do we have an identity?
No.
There's your problem. There's your problem. Like develop an identity, And so, and I thought, and I'll be curious to hear what you guys say. I thought Flacco getting out of here and going to Cincinnati and throwing for 400 yards a game right out of the gate.
And losing.
But that's on their defense. That's on their defense. The point is, here he was stifled. Kevin Stefanski is not the quarterback whisperer. He's the quarterback stifler. And so that's the other thing. So Dillon Gabriel could be better than we all think.
Why was Joe Flacco really good here 2 years ago? Why was Jacoby Brissett really good here? Why was Baker Mayfield good under Stefanski? Why were these guys good? This is so frustrating. Why was Joe Flacco, if we're going to bring up Joe Flacco, why was he so good here a couple years ago?
Because he didn't stifle him. He came in and let him sling it around the yard. But this year, and I'm telling you, Mike, at training camp, that's what we saw. And they screwed that up in the first place because they should have signed Flacco after 2023. He should have been here for 2024. But instead, we go away from it, have to go back to Watson, that debacle. Again, such a Browns thing to do, the Watson thing. And that's part of the last 5 years. That's been a big part of the problem is Watson and the contract and all of this. Because let's sign a guy. Let's give him the biggest quarterback contract, guaranteed money, but we're not even going to work him out. We're just going to, it looks like he could still play. What do you think? Yeah, I think so. All right.
So it has nothing to do with the receiving core and not getting separation and Jerry
That's
Jeudy.
on Barry. That's
and Jerry
on Barry.
Jeudy having no hands,
this,
like he cut his hands off.
But this is a whole process though. Like it's on Barry then. Or if you got to figure it out. This is the NFL, the best in the world. Figure it out. And I wouldn't say that if we haven't been trying to figure it out for 40 years. Like somebody figure it out.
But
yeah, that's why I hate this team. Oh, God,
part of the
only in Cleveland are we just putting our hopes on a 5th round project.
That's right.
And he is a project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, this was exactly the conversation I wanted to have with you tonight, Dave. Because to be honest, if you don't know Dave, you're a spectacular human being. You're an awesome guy. And I just could not more thoroughly disagree with you on how you feel about the way this is right now.
And that's the thing. And football is fun. This is fun. This is why it exists. That's why people are so interested in it, because and it's like a newscast, right? You always want your best story. You want to lead a newscast with a story where 50% of the people are going to be for it, or 50% of the people are. It's like an ump making a call in bait. That's what you want. And this team, it's easy. Like, this team gives you so many things, because you got people like me who try to be glass half full, and then you got people like Chad who are ready to throw themselves off the 480 bridge every Monday.
No, I'm not even ready to do that.
I have a friend. I do a bridge check every Monday after a loss. Dave, not Victory Monday. It's bridge check Monday.
No, Dave, it is apathy Sunday through Saturday.
Well,
that's what I am when it comes to I'm so emotionally numb to this team.
I think everybody was like that on Sunday, and then Shedeur came in, and it was like the lights. Everybody came running back to the team
for 14 seconds.
Yeah,
and then it went right back.
This is going to be. Did you see that? Oh man, CBS has got to be kicking themselves, because did you see the only people who are going to see this game on Sunday is Nevada, Las Vegas, and Reno, and Toledo and Cleveland. Like,
why should anybody else?
That's awesome. I mean, this game should be played at 7 a.m.
Yeah, right.
This is gonna be the most watched. Well, if they would open it up, this would be the most watched 2-8 battle of all time.
I don't think so. I think more people
because
are doing yard work.
But you know why? Because again, it's the perfect story. You have 50% of the people who want to see Shedeur fail, and you got 50% of the people who want to see him succeed. That's it. It is the
nobody wants to see him fail.
Story of a newscast.
Why do people? I mean, it's not just you. It's all these media types. It's all, and you got a section of these fans that are they're like the new Baker fans from Oklahoma who are just constantly in Brown's mentions, just backing him no matter what. Like, what does anybody have to base their opinion of Shedeur after? Like, there's no, especially after backup quarterback after backup quarterback after backup quarterback have come out and told you, this is what the process is. What does anybody have any basis to go off of to think that Shedeur can be a guy? It's nothing. The answer is zero. Nothing.
Isn't that the same with every quarterback that comes through the draft? You have
not a fifth round project. Well, not a fifth round project.
I mean, how many guys actually pan out? I mean,
not a lot.
More in the first and second round than in
right,
the fifth.
And that's a key thing, because that's one of the. I heard it Terry Pluto had an interesting stat, and he said, I can't quote it exactly because it flew by me, but it was something along the lines of when you look at the quarterbacks with the most success or something in the last 5 years, they're all first round picks. When you look at the top 20, they're all first round picks.
Yes.
So.
And if people thought Shedeur was that, they would have the Giants would have taken him at 2.
Well, that is the one I have to agree with you guys on that, because it's and I say this all the time. Like, when we got Cam Robinson, everybody's like, "Oh, we got a left tackle." I'm like, listen, if Cam Robinson was any good, he'd be somebody's left tackle already. He'd be locked up. He'd be on a contract for 10 years, And so, and it's we signed 2 cornerbacks at the price. I'm like, nobody cares about these guys. If they were guys, they'd be with somebody.
I think this is here's my final say on the Shedeur quarterback discussion. I want him to succeed. I desperately want him. You said it before, and I've said it 100 times. I want the Browns to take 2 wide receivers in the first round this year.
Carnell Tate.
I want them to take. Tyson out of Arizona State and Carnell Tate with that second pick.
Yep.
I want them to already have the quarterback. I want them to spend a little money in free agency, which they will have money. People don't understand the cap, but they're going to have a little money to spend in free agency on the offensive line, or make a trade for the offensive line. I'm all for it. If Shedeur Sanders comes out these final 7 games, which again, hopefully he gets some time to do it, but if he comes out this week and looks good in the final 7 weeks, you go, oh my God, all right, we got a little something here. I'm all for it. So I don't want anything we said tonight to be different than that. But I will tell you this, Dave. My issue has never one time been with Shedeur Sanders, ever. I actually think all this kid has done since he's been here are positive things. I think he's been a model citizen backup quarterback guy. My issue has been, I don't know what we call him. Chad was talking about Baker Bros before. The Shedeur.
The CU aunties. There's the CU aunties. There's a big.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the people who are just unwilling to listen to reason about the conversation, and just Shedeur Sanders is the greatest next thing, and you got to play Shedeur Sanders, and he's the next guy. He's a 5th round pick. Whether you think that's right or not, it is what it is. He shouldn't have gotten first string reps. And I know you don't agree with that, but that is how the NFL works. Because if you gave him first round reps, you're taking him away from the other rookie who is starting. And you got to now he should get all the first round reps. And now you give him a chance with it. You gave Dillon a chance with it. You got to give Shedeur a chance with it.
Yeah, but it's still not a fair fight because
the only reason
all of that training camp
stuff. Dave, here's what you're not talking about. The only reason Dillon Gabriel got that stuff during camp and all that is because Joe Flacco didn't hardly practice. He wasn't taking him anyways.
All the more reason to work both of your rookies in there.
No.
Do you think when Haslam came out and said both rookies will play this season, didn't you think both rookies were going to play this season? We've known both rookies were going to play since whatever that was, May or whenever that was.
And they've both been practicing.
This was not a surprise. There should have been a plan, like what Washington did. Make the plan and develop them both. Don't just put all of your eggs in the Dillon Gabriel basket, who everybody knows wasn't ever going to pan out. There isn't anybody on the planet who thought he was going to be a good quarterback.
Dave, they're doing the exact same thing Washington did. The exact same thing.
Washington came out right away and said,
Washington didn't have Joe Flacco.
But what I'm saying, Mike, is this. Washington had a plan right away. We have 4 quarterbacks. We have Pickett, and we have Flacco. We have this. We have that. It's a complete. There was no plan. But then
plan
the order,
and who knows?
Maybe Haslam painted him in a corner when Haslam said that. Maybe Haslam said, "Hey, we're going to see both." Kevin knows we're going to see both quarterbacks, and now Kevin's going, "Oh, we are? Oh, crap." That's the thing. That would help the situation. Like if you knew what this behind the scenes stuff that would happen, but Haslam said it. Both rookies will play, and so why not have a plan where? And I'm not saying
the good news is Jimmy, not the coach.
I would say this though. Thank God we did not derail Dillon Gabriel's career by giving Shedeur 3 reps of practice. God, thank God for that. I prayed for the football gods for that.
Do you think that would have made the big difference, Dave?
But at least the offensive line doesn't say, "Wow, that's the first thing we ever heard is cadence." Or the wide receivers go, anything. I've never even I didn't even know who was throwing me the ball. Like
on one,
no wide receiver said that, Dave. No wide receiver said, I didn't know who was throwing me the ball.
So Sanders admitted it in the press conference after the game. He said that's the first time I threw to some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time he ever threw to some of the wide receivers.
Well, get used to it now because this is the NFL. And then you're going to get new teammates.
The video that came out today was Shedeur throwing to the wide receivers, trying to get used to the speed and to the it's a thing. So that's what I mean. You could sit here all day, Mike, and tell me that the reps thing is not a thing, but I'm going to tell you that the reps thing is a thing on any level. It's a thing.
You could say it's a thing. It's just not the way the NFL works anywhere.
But the way the NFL works is not the way the Browns work. There's a Browns way of doing things, and there's an NFL way of doing things.
Well, maybe the Browns way of doing things, track.
We should have there's no book on this, Mike. Create your own book, but we don't. We can't do. Stefanski can't even be the adult in the room with Baker, and now we don't have Baker. So that's what I mean, Mike. It's time to move on. I want Schwartz to be the head coach. Let Reese call the plays, and let's go on from there.
Yeah, the Jim Schwartz head coach experience has proven to be great over the years.
He's one of those guys, though. I like the guys who have a job and make their mistakes, and then you get him on the second job.
He's really good as a defense.
Who you want? Do you want Gruden? Who do you want?
I want Kevin Stefanski.
I want Vrabel. I wanted Vrabel. I wanted Sean Payton. I wanted all the guys who are succeeding at all these other places. Oh,
do you like Dan Campbell?
Vrabel wasn't Vrabel with us? Yeah, he was last year.
Do you like
in our own freaking building, and we let him walk.
You're a Dan Campbell guy, right?
No, not really. I'm not a Dan Campbell guy, but there's at least
you were
that's a football coach. That's a real football coach.
You were a Dorsey guy, right?
100%.
He picked Freddie Kitchens over Dan Campbell. So it's not as easy as it looks.
But he also picked Baker Mayfield.
And that didn't go well for two and a half of the 4 years.
No, and he also didn't get first team reps before he got in to that game.
What's in that hot toddy? What's going on over there?
What do you think?
Are you sure that's a hot toddy? It might be something stronger.
I have to pour another one if you keep telling me that Shedeur is going to be a thing.
This is exactly the conversation I wanted tonight, Dave. We're going to let you go.
All right.
The Browns' latest podcast, Dave Grendzynski. Big time shout out. Again, great dude. You do a great job. Again, I love all the videos you put out, even if they rile me up and get me all flustered and frustrated, because I love arguing with you. So I appreciate you coming on and having a good argument with us here tonight, because I do think it's a good example of just the way that two different groups of people are feeling with regards to everything going on with the Browns. Dave is going to be in Bedford on Friday, calling Hoban and Walsh. Yep. Chad, you and I are going to be over in Brunswick calling Highland and Avon. Those winners are going to play each other. What's the predictions before we get out of here? What's the prediction?
I honestly, I think Walsh pulls off. If you want to call it upset, you can call it upset. I think Walsh wins. I think they have poured everything into this one game.
Wow.
And they lost to them 19-14 in the regular, and there were a couple of picks in that game. One was in the end zone. They were right there. They lost 19-14, and it was September 26th. They lost to them. And I think that this is everything. This is their state championship Friday night.
Is Walsh's quarterback healthy and playing?
Yeah, he is. He's good. They kept him out last week just because he's going to Eastern Michigan. Dude, there's D1 talent all over this field. It's insane.
Then I think Walsh wins.
Yeah, no, he's back. No, he's back for sure. And here's the other thing too. Like Hoban's been lucky enough they've been resting their guys too, because they had two. They had the bye week, and then they had a couple of easy ones. So dude, the Feaster brothers, the running back, he's got 25 D1 offers, like all the big schools. Then his brother's a sophomore. This is a 6'3", 235-pound running back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his brother, who's a sophomore, brother's a sophomore linebacker. He's bigger. He's 6'4", 240. And he's already got off Oregon and all these others. It is unbelievable. The size of these kids and the speed of these kids. This will be better than watching Dillon Gabriel led Cleveland Browns team. That's what this will be.
All right, that's your final word here tonight.
I would rather watch it than any Browns.
Dave, man, we appreciate you coming on.
Hey, how about this? Let's run this back after Shedeur's 7 games, and he gets us to the playoffs. All right.
You mean his one game before Dillon gets cleared and then comes back?
Oh, so we're never going to run this back? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I was going to say, we would have the tuck your tail between your legs guy, and then the I told you so guy.
Hey, listen, we'll definitely run it back. I don't know that it's going to have anything to do with that, though. But, Dave, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you. Guys. Have a good rest of your night.
All right. See you guys.
Good day.
Dave. Big shout out to Dave Grendzynski. And I always appreciate somebody that'll come on and I told him when I texted him earlier, I go, I just want you to know we're going to argue. It's going to be a bit of a fight. Oh, Joe, you're muted. I don't know why you're muted. It doesn't say you're muted, just your microphone.
It's fine. I have my secrets.
There he is.
Yeah, I told him, I said, we're going to fight. We're going to argue. Because I just can't get into the Kevin Stefanski sucks, and we're going to ignore everything good he ever did. And Andrew Berry sucks, even though he's built the defense and all that. I just can't, and Shedeur Sanders for some reason is going to be amazing, even though he's not shown it. I can't get into it, so I need you to come in and defend. And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." By the way, shout out to chat_username. Watch him from Singapore today.
Oh, nice.
Are you sitting on top of a building that has a pool on the very top?
And that's a boat.
It looks like a boat. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's nice. There's got to be a Browns backer chapter in Singapore.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is.
Probably.
Or Singaporeans that have to deal with that.
It's prestige worldwide.
Worldwide, wide.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Dave Grendzynski, Grizzer from the Browns' latest podcast. Again, he's a very good dude, and I don't agree with his stances on a lot of Brown stuff, but really good guy, and very glad he came on to argue with us. That was awesome. Boys, let's go to our Asshole of the Week segment where we call somebody out for just being an asshole. We call out a person, a place, a thing, a group of people for just being an asshole this week. So who wants to lead it off with Asshole of the Week?
I will. I'm going with that Texas A&M state trooper guy.
Oh, yeah, that was dick move.
Like, what the hell, dude? Like, he ran in for a touchdown. He didn't stop his momentum and just ran up the tunnel. And this state trooper, this hardo state trooper, just pushes the kid from South Carolina back. What are you doing? And then fucking Johnny Manziel comes out and goes, "Yeah, we paid a lot of money for this house at Kyle Field, and so we're going to protect it." Protect it from what? The kid just ran up the tunnel.
First of all, don't ever say that name again. Perennial asshole. Just asshole in perpetuity, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
I will give. You got to give a little credit to A&M on the backside because they immediately said, "Oh yeah, you don't work here anymore." Like immediately, he's a state. trooper,
for sure.
He's still a state trooper, but they were like, "Yeah, you're not on A&M duty anymore ever."
Yeah,
You're done, buddy.
Bye.
Leader.
Yeah. Dick move. Dick move. I'll go next. My asshole of the week. Apples.
Apples?
Okay.
Total assholes.
Okay.
All right, hear me out.
Like the
Hear me out.
fruit or the company?
Oh no, the fruit.
The fruit?
Oh, the fruit. Obviously the fruit.
Yeah,
Total
of course.
Apple
What you got?
assholes.
Should have known that.
Hear me out. Hear me out on why apples are assholes. I get up in the morning, I get ready, get my son ready, and I'm usually out of the house a little before 7 every morning to go to work, which means I'm usually grabbing like an apple and a granola bar, and I'm eating it in the car on the way to work, basically. Chad, I know you're an up and out early guy, so you probably just grab a little bite, go to work, fine. And you sit there, and I've got my apple, and I'm eating in the car. When was the last time you guys ate like just an apple, just without cutting it up, without just ate an apple?
I have 2 every day.
A couple weeks ago.
Then
Recently.
you're going to understand the frustration when I get angry here and talk about that goddamn one piece of the skin of the apple that gets stuck in between your teeth right here.
Oh,
And it's with you for the rest of the day. The rest of the day, that fucking apple skin is just right here in your tooth. And there's no getting it out.
That'll move your teeth.
There's no getting it out. And that's it. You're basically like, my teeth are going straight crooked now because I ate an apple and the one piece of skin just like lodged its way in there. And you are not getting it out until you find some floss or until you get home later.
And just sit there and it pushes and it pushes.
And and of course the sensation is so great that it feels it's just this little tiny piece of apple skin, but instead it feels like you have jammed like a whole wedge in your teeth.
Yeah.
And it's just shoving them apart. And all day I'm just sitting there like,
just doing whatever you can. Like, guys, I'll be back. I gotta get this out of my teeth.
No, apples are my asshole of the week because it happened to me like 3 times over the last week, and I just can't. I can't anymore.
Fair.
Ahead,
All right.
Mine is air travel, and I'd say this with a grain of salt because obviously a lot of employees there have gone a long time without pay. It's not directly at those people. These are the people that have been getting paid. But I had a flight out of Cleveland Sunday night, and we get to the airport. It was like a 7:30 flight. Go to the lounge, which okay. If you go to lounges, like the Cleveland one's like a broom closet, but they had free Christmas sale. And I had some great Christmas sale at the bar, watched the Browns get mutilated. It was a good time. And then 20 minutes before we board, our flight gets canceled because the crew timed out. Now, sure, this might, normally be an issue, but like the plane I was going on only goes from Cleveland to Seattle, which is a 4.5, 5-hour flight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, you're telling me you couldn't figure out more than 20 minutes before boarding that the crew that was on that plane was going to time out? Like, come on. So you're there at the airport.
No.
You got to wait an hour and a half for your bags to come through the carousel. And it's just kind of a shit show and then rebooking. All I have to say, I've gone 31 years without ever having to have a canceled flight. So it's a pretty good streak, I think. but
first for everything.
First for everything, Got back the next day, had a beautiful 3-hour layover in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is a gorgeous city. Man, I wish that we actually went out. It is just the most beautiful landscape and panoramic view I've ever seen from an airport before.
Yeah.
Gorgeous place, but airline.
That's it. Those are our assholes of the week. Let us know if you've got one. Philip says Johnny Football, asshole of the week every week. Yeah. In perpetuity. The asshole.
Second asshole is this goddamn split screen, whatever the hell it is that you have going on.
Oh yeah. Listen, yeah. StreamYard, definite asshole.
What the hell?
Listen, we will fix it for next week. For right now.
Poor Dave, we just saw his forehead all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hour he was on,
glistening on his influencer light.
For right now, it is what we're dealing with. All right, guys, I do want to get to this. I want to have a very honest conversation, Chad and Joe. I want to have a very honest conversation. I think it's fair to do this. I want to have an honest conversation about the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Sure.
Because, man, it's not been a great start to the year. It's not been terrible.
Yeah.
It's not been terrible. But after what we saw to end last year when they went on the big winning streak and they fought their way towards the playoffs and they did everything they needed to do to make the playoffs and it just went out of their hands on the last game of the year, and Montreal wound up making the playoffs over them. It doesn't feel to me like there's been any growth by the Columbus Blue Jackets. It doesn't feel like they've realized any kind of steps. It feels like I'm just watching the same team again. And Chad, you made your recap video from last night's game where they went and got their doors blown off again in Winnipeg. Like, God, can we be done with the West Coast or the Western Conference Canadian trips?
Awesome. That'd be awesome.
But they go get their doors blown off in Winnipeg yesterday. And Chad, I want to start with this. You were like almost a little apologetic in your video.
Okay.
You kept going back to listen, I'd rather have this than terrible. I'd rather have this than terrible. 100%. Everybody would. But I feel like there's this thing with the Blue Jackets where you have to treat them with kid gloves a little bit. Not that you have to, but I feel like we do. I feel like we treat them with kid gloves a little bit. Like, oh, but it's going to be okay. And there's plenty of room for growth. And there's this, well, listen, this was a big offseason. They went in with some of the most salary cap money to spend of any team. And listen, you got to get guys to agree to sign. And that doesn't always happen. And sure, but they made a couple good moves, I think, but they didn't make any big splashy moves. You're still trotting Elvis Merzlikins out there. You're still trotting Jet Greaves out there. Your defense still looks pretty much the same. Your biggest move you made in the offseason was re-signing Ivan Provorov. And I don't know that the Blue Jackets are anything more this year than a fringe playoff team that even if they make the playoffs are going to get beat in the first round. I think that's where they're at. And that is a bit disappointing. And I don't want to treat them with kid gloves. I think it's fair to say, nah. You built up such momentum at the end of last year. And it was a fairly disappointing offseason from an acquisition perspective. And now you look like you're right in the same exact spot. You're right in the same spot.
Well, as far as the kid gloves go, maybe sorta, because you got to remember that myself and you, Mike and Joey, we haven't been Blue Jackets fans for as long as Columbus folk have, right? We haven't had it's not like the Browns, right? We haven't had the years and years of torture. We haven't felt the years and years of torture that a lot of Blue Jackets fans have. And as far as the offseason goes, everybody hoped. I think there was a big hope, right, that there was going to be some significant moves. Right. And then when they didn't come to fruition, everybody was mad. But, like you mentioned, you got to get people to sign. You got to get people to sign. You got to get people to agree to sign. So, and Don Waddell is as transparent of a GM as anybody, right? He will tell you like it is. He's not afraid to do that. And he is so I feel it. I feel like he tried, right? He tried to make some big moves. He tried to make some big splashes. One of them was Noah Dobson, who ended up going to New Jersey for way more than what he's worth. So, and then, you were going to run it back with this team, hoping for the development, right? And, obviously there was a lot of hope going into this year, and there's still time. There's still time for them to make these leaps, right? We're only 20 games into the season. There's still 62 more games to go. And it was mainly from the young guys in the blue line and the goaltending.
Yep.
As far as the young guys go, some of the young guys are coming on. Kirill Marchenko. I mean, he's a budding superstar. He's a budding superstar. I mean, he has 25 points, 20 points in these first 20 games.
Unreal.
Yeah, and he just keeps getting better. And then Fantilli's starting to pick it up. Kent Johnson is showing some of his playmaking ability, but it's still along the blue line, right? You have Provorov, who's steady Eddie, right? He's a nice stay-at-home defenseman, and he can work the point on the power play. And then Zach is Zach, but the rest of the blue line, like with Grendzynski being injured, and then again Severson not having the greatest year, it's just it's kind of these first 20 games have kind of turned into what the Blue Jackets are, like what they have been last year. So there's still room for growth, and yes, there's been a few injuries. Like losing Boone is huge. Like losing he plays such a key role on that offense, right? Such a key role, getting into the dirty areas. He's a guy that makes his living mixing it up in the dirty areas. And then, I think some other positives to come out of this start so far is Jack Reeves, right? Yeah. Jack Reeves, he got the last 7 starts or so. It's because Elvis has had the flu, and I know there was some issues about him being a good teammate, so maybe those came to fruition. I don't know. But Jack, yes, he was 3-4 over the past 7 starts that he's had. But if you look at the games that he's played, not all of it's been, Jets' fault. Jets was some of the reasons that you were in some of these losses. So do you want to treat him with kid gloves? I don't want to treat him with kid gloves, but at the same time, I feel like like this far into my Blue Jackets fandom, I'm more patient than a lot of other Blue Jackets fans that have been following this team since the year 2000. I think that's it. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think that's why I'm not pounding the table going, oh, they should be 12-5 right now, 5-4 right now. I think that's a big reason why I'm not pounding the table, is because I'm at a point where I'm still willing to be patient. But as far as the way they've played, I'm in complete agreement that it looks like last year.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, go ahead, Mike. You're good.
No, I was just going to say, I think part of it is that I think here on this show, we're all fans of what they have set up, meaning Don Waddell as the general manager, I think we're all big fans of. Dean Evison as the head coach, I think we're all big fans of. I think structurally we're fans of what they have set up. But at the same time, if we were to take it down to the player level, Chad and Joe, which one? I hate to call out. Well, yeah, I'm going to call out it with just the same way I do it with any other of my teams. Who's going to step up? They find, I think, they find guys, these veteran players that they've had come in and have made plays. Charlie Coyle's been awesome. And Matthew Olivier over the last couple of years has been a pretty steady performer for them. And, they get guys. Monahan obviously is an important part of this team. And you've got guys, Boone Jenner's pretty steady. Zach Werenski is one of the best. But who's going to start? You also loaded this roster up with top end talent draft wise. Which one of those guys is going to step up? Because whether it's Adam I was really expecting something out of Adam Fantilli this year, and it's still early, and maybe that could happen. Yeah. But
he's starting to pick it up. He's got 7 points in his last 7 games, but there's no leap.
There's no leap that has happened there.
Sure.
Or Kent Johnson. Kent Johnson's fun, but Is he ever going to make that leap? I think Marchenko has made a leap for sure.
I think
Marchenko's
it's
the best
too early
player on
on
the team.
Tilly to make that leap, though.
I think he's the most important leap. I think for sure.
I don't think that's happening this year for him, though. Like, I think that's probably year 4 before we start to see him like really like impactful to this team.
I don't know. I wonder where with a team like the Jackets we draw the line and say, okay, whoa. Like, because what I do find myself doing, I do find myself teetering on that line of it's very fun to root for the young up and coming team when you're watching progress, when you can see the vision and you understand the progress, and it's like, yes, this is fun because I understand what they are doing. But I think there's a very thin line, and I think you cross it quickly from, all right, yeah, it's fun when you are the young up and coming team, but like you can only be that for so long.
Sure.
And then and that's what she said. And then the coming needs to happen. You can only be up and coming. You can only be up and coming for so long, and then eventually you have to coming, and like you've got to be there. And
yeah, I just feel like we're too early for those types of talks with the Blue Jackets. Like this was a bottom team 2 years ago. Bottom of the barrel 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year they made it massive overperforming stride. This year they're not worse, but they're keeping up with what they were last year. I think that it's just too early to make that judgment on them. Like I agree. Like I want them to make that big step. I don't think they have the personnel to do that quite yet.
Maybe that is a step though, Joe. Maybe that is a step. Maybe you could sell me on that. Maybe if you're going to sell me that they overperformed last year and now they're not regressing this year. So they played better the second half of the year last year than the team that they actually were. And now they're playing more like that this year. Maybe it is a step. I find myself teeter-tottering between like, I do want to give them the time and all this, but you don't have that much time in sports. You don't have that much time.
There's 2 things I look for
before Boone Jenner's gone.
There's 2 things I look for this team improving this year. One, goaltending. That's been my biggest gripe about this Blue Jackets team. I think that, and I've not been a fan of Elvis Merzlikis ever.
Nailed it.
I think him
all
and
3
Shedeur,
times you said it.
Yeah. I think him and Shedeur are looking good. And I think they're taking small steps, but they're taking steps. The other spot I wanted to see a big jump in was defense. And they just have not taken any steps at all, in my opinion. I think this defense is horrific. You have, on one end, just this prolific, incredibly skilled offense that is day in and day out showing up for this team. Defensively, they can't clear pucks. They're looking scrambled in their own zone. They just look lost. And like that's, if I'm going to put an area of concern on this team, it is just purely on that defensive side that you can squeak out the 1 or 2 points you need to make the playoffs if you can tighten that up and win a couple games here and there. But, and we were talking about it, texting earlier this week. It's like anytime the Jackets have a 1-goal lead in the third, like, it's gone. Like you can just assume brutal. That 1-goal lead is gone. And it's just, you can't live by that.
And here's the thing, late bloomers, right? And this is another reason why I'm sort of patient, right? Late bloomers are in any sport, of any sport, late bloomers in the NHL are the most common. So like Zdeno Chara didn't become a Norris Trophy winner until his 30s, right?
Right.
Tim Thomas didn't make an impact until his late 20s, and he won the Vezina when he was 34. Right. So I think that's why I'm just a little bit more patient. Although I will say this, when it comes to guys like Fantilli, when it comes to guys like Kent Johnson, you draft them they were top 5 draft picks. Right. Yep. So I think those are the guys like that have the most pressure on them that that fans need to focus on as far as like a leap is concerned, because you drafted them in that position to make immediate impacts.
Yes.
Right. And NHL drafts, even first rounders, beyond like pick 13, 14, even those late first rounders aren't usually guys you're going to see make an immediate impact. But the guys in the top 5, top 10 are guys you expect to be immediate impact players. So Fantilli and Johnson are the guys I'm going to be like kind of focusing on the rest of the year as far as who's going to make a leap. And like the blue line is what it is, right? I'm sure Don Waddell is going to be looking into improving it, especially if this trend keeps going. I think the way Jet has played, again, he's kept you in a lot of these games. He has kept you in a lot of these games. Yeah. And the thing is, and Elvis has played pretty well too. But the difference between him and Jet is Jet doesn't give up soft goals. He rarely gives up soft goals.
Never.
So he's slowly winning this net. And yeah, I think that's really it. Is like I'm fine with what they're doing right now, but as the year goes on, we definitely need to see them improve if we want any hope of them making the playoffs.
Fair. All right, boys, one last topic, then we'll do cheers of the week and get out of here. But, at this time of the year, we'd be remiss if we didn't hit on this for a few minutes. Let's go in really quickly to this topic right here, guys, which is, as of last night, we've got the most up-to-date college football playoff rankings. Ohio State smashes UCLA. Or no, was it UCLA this week?
Yeah. Yep.
Smashes UCLA. Indiana beat whoever they played. A&M with the craziest win of the week. They were down 30-3 at halftime against South Carolina and came back and won that game 31-30. Georgia with probably the most impressive win of the week as they dominated Texas. Texas was starting to collide. Texas was in the last one, I think, last week. They are no longer in it. Georgia destroyed them. And then, again, if things ended today, which, again, this isn't exactly how it's going to look, but here's how it would go. The number 4 seed Georgia Bulldogs would get the winner of Tulane. That's the group of 5 winner, and Texas Tech. Number 3, Texas A&M would get the winner of Miami and Ole Miss. Number 2, Indiana would get the winner of Alabama and Oregon. Imagine that first round game at Autzen Stadium in Eugene. That's awesome. That is awesome. And Ohio State would get the winner of Notre Dame and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, another team that had a huge win as they took out Alabama this week, and that was the biggest win of the week, I think, for any team. So, guys, a little bit of movement here in the bracket. Here's what I want to talk about. Which teams on here, guys? Which teams are locked? Which teams are going to be in the college football playoff?
I mean, your top 4 for sure. I think Oregon's locked.
I don't know. I don't know that Oregon's locked.
And I think Notre Dame's locked.
Yeah.
I hate Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's locked.
They're
going to win out. They're going to finish 10-2. They end with Syracuse and I don't know, something easy. Stanford. Syracuse and Stanford they finish with. They're going to finish with 10-2.
They're in.
Ohio State, yeah, those top 4 are definitely in. They might shift around a little bit depending on how the Big Ten championship game goes, and also depending on how the SEC championship goes.
Well, there's going to be some shifting, right? Because Georgia plays Charlotte this week. Ohio State plays Rutgers. Texas A&M plays Samford, and I don't know who Indiana plays. But Georgia finishes at Georgia Tech. Texas A&M finishes at Texas. Obviously, Ohio State finishes at Michigan. So there's big games to be had. But I do agree the top 4 teams are in because even if they were to lose one of those games, or if they were to make it to the conference, take Texas A&M, if they make it to the conference championship and then lose there, and that's their one loss on the season, they're still in.
Yeah.
Like Ohio State could lose Michigan and the championship, and I think they would still be in this picture here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think Ohio State's, I think Ohio State, unless they lost to Rutgers, Michigan, and the championship, if
they lost to Rutgers, everything's in question.
Yeah.
Miami
life is in question.
Miami is absolute bullshit that they're in. Tulane, like that whole group of 5 team that they want to put in is just, it's so muddied right now, right? Like Navy is ahead of Tulane in the American Conference standings, and then who is that other team back there? But like Tulane has 2 losses right now. They have like a 20.
I know Memphis is in there.
They have a 22-point loss to UTSA right now. But I mean, the biggest bullshit part about it is BYU and Utah are 11-12 right now in the polls, but somehow Miami was able to jump them with two terrible losses, one to SMU and the other one to I guess not a terrible loss, but the other one to Louisville.
Well, nobody beats Louisville on a Friday night.
Nobody beats Louisville on a Friday night. But look, you got Utah, who's 2 losses are to Texas Tech and BYU. BYU's only loss is to Big 12 leading Texas Tech. So, I have no idea why Miami is even in there. And then Oregon, I don't know. Oregon plays USC at home this weekend. That's like the game of the week. The slate this week is fucking sucks.
No, that's a win.
It's real bad.
Rough.
It's real bad. Like the SEC's on their bye week this week.
Yep.
And so like USC and Oregon is like the
Ohio State plays Rutgers.
Yeah, Sit Tate and Jeremiah because
I think they actually are sitting Tate and Jeremiah. So
good.
It's the Ennis game. Good.
Here it comes. Oklahoma finishes with LSU, so there's another. Like, I don't know. I mean, LSU's not very good at all, but I mean, you just never know, right? LSU still has a really good defense. And Oklahoma's offense isn't exactly great. Like they can't run the football at all. So I think more shifting is to come. It's going to be interesting to see, right? Like Texas A&M still has to play Texas, right? And then Ole Miss just has the Egg Bowl and whatever bye week team that they're playing. And then Georgia,
the SEC bye week is so crazy. This is like the season. It's just
I love it. I love that they do it. I love, like the Big Ten could do it. I actually love that I don't know why more big conferences don't do this.
Yeah.
Instead of giving yourself the easy cupcake in week 3, like Ohio State does, the SEC says, we'll just do an easy cupcake in week 12.
That's crazy. That's crazy. College football. You cannot tell me you'd rather have a cupcake in week 12 versus week 3.
Yeah, 100% I would.
Why? Why? What reason?
A little rest, a little. It's like a bye week at the end of the season to get yourself. Get a bye week. It's like a little extra rest week to get yourself ready to go for the end of the year. I think it's great. I would much rather have that.
No. Look, these college teams have 0 preseason. Zero preseason.
Nah, I'd rather have this.
I think even the week 1, Ohio State, Texas, even though Texas wasn't what we thought they were, but even that week 1 matchup is just crazy as your first real action, no preparation, going straight into a 1 versus 3 game.
But then Ohio State played 3 games of nothing.
Exactly. Enough time to figure out you have new kids coming every year. And have your defense turn over.
So you're telling me you would rather have them go 4 straight, maybe 1 big game in the beginning of the season, and then, but really 3 out of the first 4 weeks of just garbage.
Yep.
But then have to just battle your way the rest of the way instead of hey, give me one of those garbage games late in the year so we can get a little rest and get these dudes healthy.
You're in the Big Ten. You're getting a garbage game at the end of the year, anyways.
I'll take the garbage game.
You're not going Penn State, Indiana, Michigan to Oregon to wrap up the year.
Boys,
you're getting some cupcake games in there. So
boys, can I tell you really quickly?
No.
I don't want to get off on a scheduled tangent.
Tell me slowly.
Can I tell you something real quickly?
Full fast.
Very quickly becoming one of my most hated teams in college football are the Indiana Hoosiers.
Why?
I love and also despise Kurt Signetti.
Why?
I love him. I love that he brings a little swagger with him to Indiana. Indiana's a major, I mean, the money they dump into their athletic program is outrageous. Everybody, they just have always been bad at basketball, but they spend the money like anybody else. Man, that dude talks a lot of shit for a guy that's never won jack shit.
Google him. He wins.
Google me, I win. Yeah. Hey, let's see how you win against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Google me, I lose to Ohio State. That's what his new quote's going to be. Actually, Ohio State fans, where's our buddy Matt Pfeffer? I'm going to send him a text. 614. His brand should make T-shirts for that week that says, Google me, I lose to Ohio State.
Nice.
I love that.
This bitch talks so much shit. He talks so much shit. And this love that Indiana is getting. And I think you could have an argument for Indiana as the number one team in college football this year.
Sure.
So don't get me wrong.
And also, one of the most impressive turnarounds of an organization.
Yeah.
we've
I don't
seen
want
in
to
a
take
long
away.
time.
I don't want to take away from what they're doing. The attitude from them. Shut the fuck up. You are Indiana football.
Hey,
God damn it. Your basketball team hasn't been any good in like 2 decades. Why is your football team talking shit? Like, no, you don't get to talk shit until you win something.
hey,
and
teams
you
take
won-
on the identity of their coaches.
Yeah, until their coach loses to Ohio State again. Google me, I win. And then there's going to be a little homerism that comes with this. But I really believe at this point of the year, the obvious front runner for the Heisman Trophy should be Julian Sayin.
Sure.
He has
Okay.
been easily, and I mean this sincerely, easily the best quarterback in college football this year. I
Okay.
actually don't think it's anywhere close.
Okay.
And yet, here comes this dude, Fernando Mendoza, who was dog shit at Cal. Dog shit.
Mm,
He was dog shit out
he
there.
wasn't dog shit. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't,
He wasn't
dog
good.
shit.
He wasn't good.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He was nothing. He was nothing. And he goes to Indiana. And like, he's made a living off of like throwing 3 terrible interceptions, but then like making a drive at the end of the game. And like, he made that drive against Penn State this week, who, by the way, Julian Sayin, I think, had 3 or 4 incomplete passes against and just
Are you talking about his
dominated.
kids?
What?
You talking about his kids?
What do you mean?
Julian Sain's kids.
Yeah, Penn State.
His
New
children.
Ryan.
His children
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Penn State. Yeah,
Julian Jr. at Penn State.
Okay.
he's their daddy.
Penn State should have won that game. And Mendoza drives him down the field at the end and wins. And you get Gus Johnson going, there's your Heisman moment, or whatever he said for Mendoza. And everybody's like, oh, Mendoza's the front runner for Heisman now. Have you all
Don't talk
lost
shit
your
about
minds?
Gus. Do not talk shit about Gus Johnson.
But have you all lost your minds? Have you all lost your
Well,
minds?
That was an electric ending to a game. But I agree.
Give us a shit about the ending. Julian Sayin threw like 3 incomplete passes against that same team as they cruised to a 30-point victory. But oh no, you got to give it to Mendoza.
And it was his tight end and receiver that bailed him out of both of those clutch catches at the end of the game.
And it was also him that put him in that position because he threw the interception to give Penn State the chance to go up when they did. And that's what happened. Like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. There's nobody that should win the Heisman over Julian Sayin. Nobody.
All right. Deal.
They got to keep it competitive for the bets, man.
And I love the people that come out and say, yeah, but look at who he's throwing to. He's throwing to the best receivers in college football. Uh-huh.
And he's doing it well.
And what? And what?
And what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Someone's got to get them the ball, by the way.
Have you noticed how like a guy like Carnell Tate or even Jeremiah Smith have gotten like a little bit better? It's because they have a quarterback that is just dropping balls in the bucket constantly.
Yeah.
Just
Perfectly
constantly
placed
dropping
balls.
balls in the bucket.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to be on the forefront of the Julian Sayin needs to win the Heisman Trophy this year.
All right.
Yeah.
It is outrageous to me that he isn't easily the number one candidate for the Heisman Trophy. It's
there's another T-shirt there, right? Like Julian for Heisman. Then on the back, I'm just saying, huh?
Kurt Signetti.
All right.
Google me. I lose to Ohio State.
Nice.
I'm gonna text Pfeffer, tell him to make that shirt, and I want 10% of the proceeds. Anyways, this is how it looks now. Nobody on this list, I think, is playing. Well, what's the biggest game of anybody on this list this week?
I said Oregon and USC. USC is at Oregon.
Yeah, that's the big game. Top 4 is a bunch of nothing games.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Georgia's playing Charlotte, and then they finish at Georgia Tech, which could be a loss for them, but
it won't be.
Georgia is peaking at the right time.
Yeah, again, here's the last thing I'll ask you before we get out of here. I asked you guys this last week. I'll ask you this week. I'll ask you next week until we have the official standings. You obviously look at your top 4 teams, 2 SEC teams, 2 Big Ten teams, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia. Who's got like the best road, and who's getting hosed here? I mean, I think the getting hosed is a pretty obvious one.
I think that one. Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana. Congrats. You get Alabama or Oregon.
Well, yeah, right. And then you get A&M or Ole Miss.
I know you blew the doors off of Oregon when you went out there, but like, I don't know that I would pick them to do that again.
No.
Alabama or Oregon, that's tough.
Yeah, and then you get A&M or Ole Miss. Yeah, for sure. Like that, I think that's the hose road. Yeah, A&M or Ole Miss. Yeah, okay. And then Georgia. I mean, Georgia has the easiest road, but I don't know, man. That Texas Tech team.
Texas Tech's a lot of fun. Georgia beats them by 3 touchdowns.
I don't know. That Texas Tech to me feels like an Ohio State from last year. Just turns up the intensity. That defense is for real. And then Baron Morton. Oh, dude, that kid's a stud. I'm telling you. Obviously, clearly, Texas Tech's my new BYU. I've watched a lot of them this year.
Yeah, but you went to Provo this year, so.
Oh, unbelievable.
That was that.
Unbelievable. The hills are alive.
What, Joe, you're muted. It's great when you turn your microphone off.
I got 2 things. One, in the comments chat, username said Rule 1, never check in bags. That's how I get this home.
Nice.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, come on.
And 3 bottles of bourbon. No. 2. Can you pull up the picture of the playoffs again?
Oh, yeah.
I think the second asshole of the week is going to be the college football trophy. What a stupid emoji-looking design.
Nice.
Okay. Bring back the crystal football.
Okay.
I do like the crystal football.
This thing is so... I hate this trophy. It's so lame. I hate how it comes to like a point. Why? Why? It just makes no sense to me. It's stupid. I hate the logo. Do better. That's all.
That's fair. Glad we did
fair
that.
Enough.
Worst trophy in sports.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Before we get out of here, let's do our cheers of the week. And this is where we're going to do the opposite of the asshole of the week, where we just go around and give cheers to whoever deserves it this week. So who wants to start?
I started asshole. Someone else want to go?
All right, I'll start. I got to give a cheers to the even though the guy was kind of an asshole, but he showed up. So he's like asshole cheers of the week. So I get a call the other night, Monday night, and it's my sister who is just getting back into Cleveland, and she's at the airport. And she lands, and the battery of her car is dead when she gets to the garage.
Oh.
And so I'm like, son of a bitch. And then she proceeds to say, because with like new cars, you can't gear shift if your battery's dead. So like her battery's dead and I can't put her car into neutral to back it out so that we can go like nose to nose and I can jump her car, which is really fucking stupid.
So dumb.
So I go out there. Joe, I actually stopped by your parents' house. Your dad has a thing,
25-foot long, jumper cables. I know.
not the 25-foot long jumper cables, but like one of those boxes.
Oh, he's got the box.
Yeah, the problem is the box is a charger. It's not
He
a
should just
jumper.
give you the long cables.
The box is a charger, not a jumper. So unless I wanted to sit there for 27 hours while the battery charged, that did not help. So big shout out to the folks at Cleveland Hopkins Airport, because I went up to the parking thing and I hit the button on like the machine and I was like, I need somebody to show up with long jumper cables. And some dude showed up and he was miserable. He hated the fact that we even asked him to show up. But he got the car jumped and we got out of there. So shout out to that guy for
Nice.
hating the fact that he had to do it, but he did it.
Okay. All right. My cheers goes to Bryce Dunlap and the family of Bryce Dunlap. If you don't know the name Bryce Dunlap, unfortunately suffered a traumatic brain injury and did not survive it. But something good that came out of this tragedy was his liver. He was an organ donor, and his liver was donated to Bernie. I know Bryce and the Dunlap family have a GoFundMe to pay for his funeral expenses. So if you can, seek. I don't have the link, obviously, but like if you can seek it out online and then go donate if you can. But shout out to Bryce Dunlap. Rest in peace, and your organs are going to save people's lives. So it's always important to be an organ donor. So there you go. Maybe cheers to organ donors.
Heck yeah. Here, listen. I'll give it a little love while Joe thinks of his his cheer of the week.
It's gonna cheer my wonderful family.
Nah, fuck you.
Tough act to follow.
Here,
but-
hold on.
What? Hold on. What? Why are we dragging this out? Oh yeah.
There it is. That's the young man that his liver went to basically save the life of Bernie Kosar.
Wow.
And you see some of the numbers over here. How about this? Somebody donated almost $10,000.
Nice.
And this is just, it's funeral expenses, it's memorial expenses. And look at this. This is a kid, man. This is a kid.
That's horrible.
This is mental health expenses too. This kid has a family, and they need a little time to have a little mental health grieving. And what they did to support Bernie Kosar and to give him another chance at life, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I thought I was ready for the worst news on Bernie.
Yeah. Yep.
And this kid's liver went to save Bernie's life. So yeah, listen, go look this up. Bryce Dunlap. This is the GoFundMe page. But Chad, that's a really good one. And I'm glad you brought this up, because support this family. Again, it doesn't just have to be medical or funeral or whatever expenses, just the expenses of losing Bryce. Go support them. All right. There you go, Joe.
I'm not gonna follow that up.
All right.
That's great.
Joe's like, yeah, fuck it.
Cheers to Bryce, to all organ donors and families going through that just incredibly horrific process.
Cheers to getting hammered at Oglebay.
Oh, that was great.
That was great.
We had a good time at Oglebay, yeah, Joe?
Had a great time at Oglebay.
Yeah. All right, boys, let's get out of here for this episode 290. Last order of business for us are our thank yous. Big time thank you goes out to the OBR for hosting us. Get over to the OBR.com and hit subscribe to be a part of Cleveland's oldest, largest independent Browns coverage site, and to just join that community over there. It's one of the best Browns communities in all of Cleveland. And so get over to the OBR.com, hit subscribe for that. Shout out to Dave Grendzynski coming on with us, hanging out, basically getting assaulted by us, to be honest with you, from the Browns' latest podcast. Dave has gone full Shedeur mode, which I think a lot of us find annoying, but he came on to face the music, and I think he did a good job standing up for himself, even if he didn't sway me. But big shout out to Dave Grendzynski. Go check out the Browns' latest podcast to continue following Dave. And also Friday night, when Chad and I are doing Avon versus Highland, Dave and Lance Reisland are going to be doing Hoban and Walsh. Tune into both of those games because, man, oh, man, what a crash course those teams are going to have. It's going to be a great night of football on Friday night here in Ohio High School football for the regional championship. So big shout out to Dave. But our last thank you, as always, goes out to all of you. There were a lot of you that joined us live here tonight. Shout out to you. The comments were awesome. You kept us laughing and going all night long. If you don't join us live, remember you can always catch us on the podcast version, or you can catch us on demand with YouTube or Twitch or wherever you decide to watch us. That's going to do it for episode 290. Again, scheduling note for next week. We're going to record the episode and we're just going to release it. Again, we're not going to go live on Thanksgiving Eve at 9 p.m. because you got shit to do and we got shit to do. We got family stuff. We got drinks to have. It's Thanksgiving Eve. So we're not going to go live at 9. Instead, we're going to release the episode after we record it. That might be Monday, Tuesday, whatever. We'll let you know on the socials. Having said that, go follow the Garage Beers on all the socials to keep track of what's going on. But again, no live show next Wednesday. We'll have it recorded and released to you before that. Otherwise, that's going to do it for tonight. For Chad Meyer over on the east side of Cleveland, for Joey Whalen over in Seattle, I am Michael Keefe. And make sure you stay tuned next week, again, whenever we drop it for episode 291. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and cheers, everybody.